Hi everybody, just an interestingly weird waffle video for you. I haven't done a waffle in a while. Did a random bollocks recently. You bastard. I knew that was going to happen as well, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I've done a random bollocks video lately, so I thought I'd do another waffle. Not much difference between the two, but you know. And the thing I'd like to be talking about today is this new election process that they're on about. We did get a leaflet about it, but it's not in front of me or behind me or anywhere in this room, so I have no idea. But I'm just going to basically explain it. Now, for those of you living in England, you probably already know this, but for viewers around the world, this is what they're on about doing for elections now. Instead of like you vote and then the person with the highest votes wins, no, they're going to scrap that idea. It's gone. They're bringing in this new system, right? Where let's say there are 5,000 votes and there are 4 people. First person receives 1,252 votes. Second person receives 1,251 votes. The third person receives 1,249 votes, and the last person gets 1,248 votes. That's all the votes, correct? So the person who was first and got 52, as opposed to the rest of them, should win, because they got the most votes. But no, they've scrapped the idea. Now, the person who's last, which is the guy with the 48, 1,248, his votes will be redistributed equally, apparently, over the other 3 people. So his 1,248 will be split evenly among the 3 higher candidates, pushing their votes up equally, apparently. Well, this is how they're explaining it. And then the person who's third, who is still third, obviously, because he was third in the first place, his votes will be redistributed over the other 2, equally, apparently. Which means that the person who was first is still first, and the person who was second is still second. They've just got more votes. Nothing's changed. Yet apparently, the way they explain it is when they've done all this, and it's come down to the 2 people left, the person who was second could have won. But they're going to redistribute the votes equally. How can the person who was second overtake the person who was first and win? I mean, that confuses me. It takes a lot. It really takes a lot to confuse me. But that confuses me. Because the way they explain it, it's like it just sounds exactly the same as what they're currently doing. They're just making it a little more complicated. But the end result that they give you is that the person who was second can come first, even though the votes are apparently redistributed equally. Can anyone explain this one to me? Because I fucking can't. I mean, even if every person got the exact same amount of votes, what are they going to do then? I mean, obviously the chances of every person receiving the exact same amount of votes is very difficult. But yeah. So let's say everyone gets the same amount of votes. Say 400 people vote and every person gets 100 votes. Who's going to win then? Because nobody's come last to redistribute their stuff. And obviously if that happened now anyway, no one would still win anyway, I guess, because there's still 4 people with the same amount of votes. But I think just bringing in this new idea is just stupid, because it's confusing people, it's making people complain, and people are really fucking complaining about this. And, you know, it's just, we don't need this sort of shit in our lives. It doesn't matter who we elect, because they do fuck all anyway. I mean, yeah, being to the outside world, yes, to the Americans, to Africa, Germany, France, Australia, New Zealand, Indonesia, India, Russia, Czechoslovakia, China, Spain, Japan, Italy, wherever you are, as long as you're not in England or the UK, I guess. To you, yes, we do have a queen. But the queen doesn't run the country. We have a government and everything that runs the country. So yeah, so we elect like a government leader to run the country, and they come on telly with these little 5-minute programs when it's coming to election. We promise to lower taxes by 10%, and we're going to put up housing benefit by 2%, and pensions will go up 5%, and we will do this in your area, and we'll build this, and we'll make this much funds available for schools, and this much extra funds for whatever the fuck it is. And the NHS funds will go up by twice as much, and whatever. We'll give you all this stuff. Yes. And the other company comes on and says, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And the other ones, they said they're going to do that. Well, we're going to do this instead, which is better. And then you elect them and they go, yeah. Let's just sit back and fuck off. No. So what's the point of even voting? The only time I ever voted in anything was in the local Boston election. Me and my mum, we both went up to the voting station and we both voted for the same person. You're not meant to, no one else is meant to know who you're voting for, but yeah, but we both voted for the same person. And that's only because I knew the person we voted for. His name was Carl. I don't know his last name. And when I got to know that he was running, asked him what he was going to be doing, that sort of thing, like you do. Get to know your campaign. Sounds alright to me. And I said to him, well, I know you anyway, so I'm going to vote for you. Probably. So, we went up there and two of us voted for him. He didn't win, but that was the only time we ever voted in anything. I mean, I don't think Mum's ever voted in the general election. The big the big countrywide, nationwide. What am I saying? Countrywide, nationwide. That's what I meant. Nationwide. I don't think anyone I know has ever voted in the nationwide election. But what's the whole point of voting in an election anyway? Because nothing gets done. Nothing gets done anyway. I mean, 4 years ago, in the local election, we elected these people called the Boston Bypass Independents. They wanted to get a bypass for Boston because there's too many vehicles coming through our town, and it was clogging up the streets. 4 years since they came into power, they still haven't got the bypass, and all the other stuff that they promised to do, they haven't done. Stuff that they said wouldn't change has changed. They were going to lower unemployment. Well, I still don't have a job. And I like the way the government says, we're going to lower unemployment. You know what they mean? They just mean this. We're going to force people to get a job. That's all they mean by we're going to lower unemployment. We're going to force people to get a job. But if there's no jobs to get, we can't get a job, can we? No! But the government doesn't know that. Plus, it's not just that. It's like the government saying, we're going to lower unemployment. Basically, we're going to force people to work. It's like, work! You will work! How can you get a job if, the job companies are so biased against what they want? I mean, I couldn't even get a job as a volunteer police officer. A volunteer police officer. Or it's a 2-day or 2 week or whatever the fuck it was, I can't remember what it was. It was something or other training course. And then you go out on the beat basically like a regular police officer. You don't get paid. You walk the streets, you fight crime, you don't get paid for it, and I couldn't even do that. Not because I didn't want to, nothing like that, you need to be a police officer. I mean, even becoming a volunteer police officer, yeah, you don't get paid for it, but fucking hell, it's a good job. I couldn't even get that. And it wasn't my criminal record, even though I have got a criminal record. I did contact the police people about it. I went to like the Metropolitan Police and I sent them an email and asked them. Because we have police, then we have Metropolitan Police. Not really much difference, they're both near enough the same, except one's based in London and I think one's based somewhere else. So I bypassed our local police and just went straight to the Metropolitan Police, and I asked them why I didn't get accepted. And I said, was it my criminal record? And they said, no. You just didn't get past the vetting process. Now basically all the vetting process is someone sits there basically and looks at your application form. That's all the vetting process is. What, did I just not fill it out properly? I mean, I filled in every part that it told me to fill in. I paid attention. I used capital letters where it said capital letters. If it said capital, I can't remember. It was fucking months ago. I signed it where it said to sign it. I put the date where it said to put the date. I did whatever it told me to do, and I did it correctly. Because I always fill in my application form correctly. And I normally set aside a whole fucking hour to fill it in. Although sometimes I'll just and it's done. Well, I won't go but yeah, you know what I mean. Basically I just rapidly fill it in. Especially if it's one that I've filled in lots and lots of times before, I know exactly what's filled in. But yeah, so you know, didn't get through the vetting process. What, did they just not like my writing? Did they not like that I lived down Fenside? I don't know what it was. They didn't say that, they just said you didn't get through the vetting process. So that basically told me I wasn't even good enough to volunteer for anything. Basically. So, yeah, so what kind of thing does that say to a person? It's like you're not even good enough to volunteer for work. I was like, God, it's so depressing, isn't it? God. I mean, what am I meant to do now? You know, I'm going through my life year by year, day by day, week by week, month by month, minute by minute, hour by hour, second by second, whatever you want to say. You know, decade by decade. Going through my life, however period of time it is, knowing that I'm not even good enough to do volunteer work. Basically. Because that's the idea, it sticks in your head. You didn't get through the vetting process to become a volunteer at something. Therefore that means that you're not good enough to be a volunteer. So you're not even good enough to do work without being paid. Now companies are very anxious to take on people without paying them. I mean, we have apprenticeships, we have work experience and everything. Which I have done, I've done work experience. But you know, for a company or you know, a police force or whoever to basically just tell you you're not good enough to even volunteer now. You know, you're not good enough to work for free. You know, you just sort of think, okay, I'll just walk to my room and cook myself. You can see why people become like that, very, very depressed and start slashing their wrists and everything. Yeah. You start listening to very dark, goth style music about splitting their wrists. That's how I see most of their emo music, just songs about slitting your wrists. You take the knife and you jam it in the wrist and you rip it up to your elbow. No. Actually, I'd love a song like that, yeah. Walking down the street, someone rings you up, that's your ringtone. You take a knife and stick it in your wrist and you rip it up to your elbow. You answer the phone and you go, hello? No, I don't want to. It'd be funny actually. Yeah. Maybe I should release that as a song. Fuck it. I'll just write a song about, you know, killing yourself. You know, release it onto YouTube and everything, you know, become a big singer of emo style music. Actually, about the only job I could get now is fucking a comedian. I don't mean fucking a comedian. I mean, I mean a comedian. Being a comedian, yeah. Will you shut up? That tells me I've now been recording for 15 minutes. I guess. Well, it's longer than that because the clock went off just after I started this video, so I'd say that's 16 minutes. Well, it's somewhere between 15 and 16, I guess. Probably 16 by the time I stop explaining that it's 16. But yeah. Yeah, so really, when you get told that basically you can't even volunteer, you sort of give up and you sort of think, well, what's the fucking point then? And then like the job centre's like, well, have you got a job yet? You know, what have you been doing to look for a job? Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you been doing this? Have you been doing that? Yeah. And they basically try and force you into it, you know. It's not like the old days of the job centre where they help you get a job. It's now we force you to get a job. Even if there isn't a job, we will force you to get one. Even if there's no jobs in the world, you have to apply for one. And I've been in the job centre sometimes, and they've even sat there and then little chairs, and then little desks, little computers, and said, yeah, well, there's really no jobs there, is there? They've said that to me, you know, me being the customer of the place, the person who's got to get the job, you know. They've actually sat there and said that to me, well, there's no jobs out there. And then they say, have you applied for one? You just want to kill yourself, don't you? Not literally, but you know, you just feel like it's like, you just said there's no jobs. Why are you asking me if I apply for one, you fat cunt? Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say then, so I made a weird noise. Yeah, I mean, it's just daft, isn't it? You know. It's like if you want to, let's say you want to buy a gun, but there's nowhere to buy a gun. You know, someone says, yeah, have you bought a gun then? You know, it's the same thing, yeah. Well, not really, because that's a gun, not a job. Same sort of thing, it's like, they tell you that, you know, it's very difficult to get something, and then they ask you if you've got something. But they've already said it's very difficult to get it. You know, are they thick? You know, I'm sure they just get paid to sit there and say the same thing over and over again. I'm sure their training course is just a bunch of things that they have to sit there and say. They sit there for 2 hours or whatever it is, listening to all the things that they have to say to people. And it gets drummed into their head. They even listen to it on audio tapes at night while they sleep. You know, it's like, yeah, there's no jobs out there. What have you been doing to look for a job? Yeah, you can imagine it, can't you? Well, you can now, because I've just said it, but yeah. Yeah, so what's the point? And that makes you feel even more fucking, like, stupid and depressed or whatever the fuck you want to feel, or whatever the fuck you feel in the first place. I mean, I feel everything my hands touch. No. See, I told you I should be a comedian. There's too many comedians on the market today, so I won't get very many fans. I guess I could become a YouTube comedian, but then again, you know, I'm already a YouTube comedian. Went up to an American the other day, I said, do you want to hear an English joke? And he says, sir, you are an English joke. Not really, that was just a joke I heard fucking ages ago. From a comedian. So, yeah. Yeah, but then again, becoming a comedian on the internet, you know, not really a good idea, because you can't get paid for it. You know. I mean, yeah, people could send you money to your PayPal account, but then again, you're uploading videos anyway, whether they send you the money or not. So really, a lot of your stuff they get free. But I've started doing that thing when I paste something down. I do that sometimes. Yeah. Just for no reason. I don't mean to do this, obviously. I mean I paste up and down. Imagine if you just started doing this sometimes for no reason. And when you got really intense into conversation, you started doing this! That reminds me of fairs in town. Come on, if you don't get out of this release to the fair, there's something wrong with you. Okay, for the thick people I'll explain. Limbo dancer. It's a ride where you all sit in a long line, facing that way, with people either side of you. And then it goes, oh nice, and it goes, yeah. Basically that is. It's normally accompanied by a series of psss. Yeah. Basically, yeah. You should know what a limbo dancer is. So, let's talk about. No, not really. We can run out of things to say. I can tell when I've normally run out of things to say because I stand like this, so I start doing karate moves. And pull my jeans up from under my feet, even though they're not under my feet. I get so used to wearing very, very long jeans because I've got very, very short legs, you see. Well, I say short legs. You know, they're about the size they're meant to be. It's just, you know, I have to buy trousers that are wider in the stomach, just because the ones that are thin enough for me to wear normally aren't long enough in the legs. So I have to buy trousers that are wider in the gut, so they fit me in the leg. And then I have to wear a belt to hold the fuckers up. But yeah. Yes, that's about all I have to say really. Covered a diverse amount of topics there. Voting, the government, jobs, not being able to get a job, depression, emo music, flashing your wrists, being a comedian, fucking a comedian. Where else on YouTube could you find a video that covers all them topics? Nowhere. That's why you tune in to Diablo 666 Demon 666's Waffles. Waffles also being a name of a very tasty food made out of potatoes that you grill. I'm guessing you could possibly put them in the oven or something, but we normally grill them. What would be the point in putting them in the oven? We cooked in the oven in the first place, and then you grill them. That's what I don't get. It'd be like cooking a chicken in the oven and then just stick it in the microwave. Or making some toast on the grill and then stick it in the oven. You know, weird. Anyway, so yeah. So thank you for watching this video. Hope I didn't bore you too much. I mean, that's the whole point of a waffle though. Sorry, if you get bored by a waffle, that just sounds weird. If you get bored by a waffle, stick some fucking beans on it. Or follow one of my cookery tips, stick some mint sauce in your beans. Not mint sauce, you fucking lunatic. You could stick mint sauce in your beans if you feel like it, but I'm in curry powder, stick curry powder in your beans. Yeah. I'm hopefully going to be doing another cookery tip quite soon if I can think of something to do one about. Yeah. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope it didn't bore you too much, but if you get bored by one of my waffles, then obviously it's doing its job. Hopefully you didn't get too bored so that you stopped watching. Then again, if you did do that, then obviously you're not a fan of my waffles, so why the hell are you watching it in the first place? So I'm guessing everybody that watched this obviously paid attention all the way through. But if you have any comments, questions, or whatever, bits of information, bits of feedback or whatever about this video, you know, just look it in the comments section like normally. I don't know why I just ask people to do that, people do it anyway. It's weird. Sometimes I just, I just don't think of these things. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you again quite soon. And now I have to walk all the way over here just to stop the video.